The Panthers 3, Donovan, Justin, we're here. Justin, give me your first overall impressions of half number one.
I'd like to thank the Carolina Panthers for committing the worst penalties you'll ever see at the end of the half there, because what looked like it was going to be a 10-3 game going into half turned into kind of what I thought looked like the end of the Eagles game, where the Cowboys got bailed out penalty after penalty after penalty, and then now it's 17-3. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's a 14-point lead, but it feels like the Cowboys have kind of been sleepwalking here through this first half. They haven't had too much success on offense. Both teams have had 5 drives. And the Cowboys on their 5 drives, they have 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and a couple of punts, especially the first 3 and out. And it just doesn't look like that they're on top of their offensive game. But they have a 2-touchdown lead against a really bad team. And that's almost kind of like, all right, you know what? That seems like that's kind of how the NFL goes. If you're not on your game, if you're playing a team like this, even if you don't feel like you're doing great things, you still have this lead.
Yeah, it's, the thing that is kind of odd to me is how much success Carolina's having running the ball against Dallas. They're averaging in the first half 5.5 yards a carry. Chuba Hubbard's averaging 7. Miles Sanders is doing really well. Luckily, that hasn't turned into any kind of sustained drive outside of the one where Carolina got their 3 points. But I think in the second half, I think that's where we're going to see the Cowboys offense maybe start to figure out what to adjust and get that big blowout we've anticipated all week.
Carolina, man, they're a bad team for a reason.
They're terrible.
And it kind of sucks because they had to kind of move heaven and earth to get Bryce Young and think about the future. But their future would have been helped out a lot if they were a sucky team and they could get some of these draft picks to kind of restock. And they are not good. I think their defense is playing over their heads today. I think their defense is playing really well, and how they're playing back and kind of making this offense that's been going down the field a lot the last month kind of dink their way down the field, and they're not used to it. So you see the Cowboys trying to take shots like they have been the last couple of weeks, but it hasn't worked because Carolina, I think, they have a pretty good defensive plan coming into this game.
Yeah, and they're getting pressure on Dak pretty well. I mean, whether they're blitzing or just going with 4 with Burns and Brown. But honestly, I did not think we would say Troy Hill was a standout of the first half, but besides kind of getting lost on that pick play there at the end, he's played pretty good coverage against Dallas and knocked down a ton of passes.
No, he has.
Troy Hill.
Yeah, I know. CeeDee Lamb, 3 catches, 20 yards, and it was only until the very end where he could get even a little bit downfield when they blitzed. And I don't know why the heck they blitzed on that last play, because Dak against the blitz is pretty freaking outstanding.
Yeah.
And they just dropped back, played zone on the play before and almost got an interception. But then they went to the zero coverage that Greg DeLeg was talking about, and it just didn't seem to make any sense. But that's what bad teams will do. And you have to cash in on those opportunities. I'm telling you, it's been a really sloppy first half, I think, on offense, and how the Cowboys still can't get the running game going. And Dak having to drop back 27 freaking times in the first half against Carolina. That's something that we didn't even think would even happen. But defense, I think Dallas's defense is playing pretty well, and especially Michael Parsons.
He looks great.
After not showing up on the stat sheet last week, he has 2 sacks. And DeMarcus Lawrence's sack is a Micah sack. He's just not going to get credit for it because he destroyed 2 guys, and DeMarcus Lawrence got around, made him step up. Bryce Young and DeMarcus Lawrence got the sack. So Michael Parsons is definitely saying, all right, you know what? I'm on the stat sheet this week, bitches, so leave me alone. And they're doing it, and he's doing his thing.
So I guess this, could be a big prime example for people that are staunchly in the momentum camp, because I think Dallas gained a lot of that going into halftime with what played out there in the last 2 minutes. So, during pregame, Sean and Newberry and I talked about this would be fantastic if we could see Cooper Rush enter the game in the late third. And, if the Dallas can come out in their first couple possessions, get a touchdown and a field goal, stop the Panthers, go up 24-3, 30-3, we may still get that yet. I don't think Carolina's a good team at all. Their offense leaves a lot to be desired. I don't think they have any good receivers. Thielen's fine, but I don't see how they can put together a big drive unless they get some kind of, 30-yard explosive play by a running back.
You want to tell everybody what you said when Thielen caught that first pass of the game?
I may or may not have said it was a second pass because I wanted to make sure that he went to him multiple times.
Okay.
And then I may or may not have sung that he was hooked on a Thielen. And then we high-fived, and we got the still frame, and the episode was over.
Yeah, kind of like Chips. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just kind of hunk up in the air a bit and everything.
I felt good about it.
Oh, no, yeah, you did.
I knew my audience.
You issued the line, you took a sip out of your drink, and just sat back and just admired all the confetti
all
and
the
praise.
roses.
Yeah, right. All the bravos and all that other stuff. So I'm glad you handled that gracefully. All right, the post-game show will be on the ticket afterwards. It's Donovan, it's Matt, it's Sean Bass. We'll be here for a couple of hours dissecting Cowboys and Panthers. Justin, you're the best, man. It is an experience watching the game with you and McLaren at the same time. This has been an eye-opener. I have to be the adult in the room, people, when you have Justin and Matt McLaren in the same room. And I don't know if I like being that or not.
We like to make up a lot of backstories that probably aren't true for people.
All right, enjoy the second half. Come back for the post-game show. We're going to do it big. Love you.